We OG, oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got D or no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nuki on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls. Bet I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We are live for another Ordinal hour, and this one is going to be absolutely amazing, guys, because we're talking AI agents. We're talking AI. We're talking Bitcoin. It's going to be awesome because today I have a special guest, and as you can see by the title, it's Superfan. He's probably, besides Butoshi, he's probably up there with them. One of the people that's kind of building the AI here. There's not a lot of people doing it, and it's awesome to have him as a co-host today because we're really going to dig deep into everything AI, kind of get his backstory as well with the heroes and what he's building with Big Noodle, but we're also going to jump into some AI stuff. And, you know, for someone like me who really isn't over there a lot, right? I'm mainly focused over here. It'd be nice to kind of get the ideas of what everyone else is kind of thinking, right? Like kind of get in the minds of these AI traders. And I think that's going to be exciting because I do think that eventually everything comes to Bitcoin. That's just kind of how it goes. Everything eventually comes to Bitcoin. AI is going to be here. And I kind of want to get his opinion too. And if AI can replace smart contracts, because I'm kind of on this mission to kind of thinking that potentially in the future, AI could replace smart contracts and could give us that ability to do things, to do DeFi things over here on Bitcoin without them. But I don't know. I think I'm the only one barking up that tree right now. But I'm excited for this one, guys. So without further ado, let's bring him in. The man, the myth, the legend. We got Superfan. Welcome to Ordinal Revolution, my friend.
Yo, Shizzy, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much. I saw you're a bit nervous, but you don't gotta be nervous, bro. Just
yeah, you know what it is. It's like I don't feel like the most well-rounded person on all the topics you cover, and you guys are so expert at it. I feel like I can't touch it, but I'm gonna go deep on the stuff I know, and that's why I'm here today, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, I'd be stupid to do a normal show with you here, right? Like, because the fact that I don't have you every day, right? So, like, why would I talk about runes and stuff like that when I could talk about what you're knee deep in, right? What you're covering on a daily basis, what you see that maybe I don't see, right? And you know, the people in the comments, dude, this is your family, bro.
Yeah,
everyone loves you. Like, the comments today are just all about you, and it's awesome.
Yeah. And it's not knee deep, it's neck deep, maybe nose deep. but yeah, for the folks in the chat, for the family, like I gotta say, being on this side of the camera, when that music kicks in, we all love the both of the theme songs, right? But sitting backstage and hearing that, all of a sudden it's kind of like Rocky you know, getting into the ring. It's like so the nervous level just gets kicked up a notch. But yeah, that's the experience on this side.
Dude, it's like the, you know, I think we're like show 500 and it still does this to me, dude.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
all jacked up on coffee, the song hits, I'm singing. Like you got to see it. Like when the music's on, me and Yagobi, because you can see it like below.
Yeah.
I can just, we're both just singing, bro. We're like
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
Yeah, and Yagobi, if you're listening, maybe you are. Like, I hope to do you proud today.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. All right, for anyone who doesn't know you, right? For like, you know, because you've been on the show probably like 4 or 5 times on Tap Tuesdays when we were doing that back then. But for anyone who doesn't know you, kind of go into your background a little bit, and I would love to. And we do have some roots that are connected because
Yeah.
we're both from that machining world. But I'd love to hear your background.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think it's great to start right there where like you've mentioned being a machinist and like life before crypto, right? And yeah, I did CNC work. I was doing machining. I'm actually sitting in my warehouse where I still have tools downstairs because that's still kind of like the day job. But yeah, it started there. And just like you, when running a machine, and you want to get that high frequency noise out of your ear, you got headphones in, and what were we
Yeah.
listening to? It's all this crypto stuff, right? So so yeah, it started there, but I guess fast forwarding, you guys gave me my first real like press on a project, which wasn't even a real project yet. I was in a hackathon. I was going to launch something on a little known launchpad called Basepad at the time, and that didn't work out, and they're not around anymore. But you guys were invited as judges, and that project was me showing generative AI. I don't know how long ago that was. Now that was a good half year ago. That was summertime,
Yeah.
but I was the first one to bring generative AI, pair it with DMT to Ordinals, right? And I've been told these aren't my work, but I'll take it. I've been told that like at the time, Ordinals were a little boring, a little stale maybe, and needed some new energy. And this was like all new tech. This was, you know, I wanted to show up swinging with some innovation, and so I brought that to bear. So it's kind of like inscription IDs where the seed numbers, a bunch of other stuff I'm referencing makes the image, and then the image is always spawned on the fly, right, from a GPU. So we weren't talking agents back then. It was generative AI was the new, and that's where I was really focused. And I built a whole stack to make creator tools out of it. And that's what you saw. And that's where you created a segment called developer. Oh, I forgot. Developer Spotlight. That's it.
Oh yeah. That was Yagobi. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, talk about nervous, right? And so yeah, that's been a great success for me. That's built. I went from 0 to 100 in building a community, and that's been awesome. And I love my Discord. Everybody's so great in there, and you know, I disappear every now and then as a dev. I go heads down, and they're all really generous. They're really forgiving. So it's like, so what I have been building in the background was this DPIN, and jump in anytime, man. I'm just gonna run straight to it. Yeah. So I've been building a DPIN, and a DPIN is a decentralized physical infrastructure. That can mean a lot of things, but one of the most famous was Ethereum's DPIN, which was the proof of work. Every GPU that was crowdsourced that contributed to the chain were the miners who got paid for their compute. They switched to proof of stake, of course, famously. Everybody knows this, but that's an example of a DPIN. Big Noodle is a DPIN. You know, anytime there's an oracle or a node that's keeping consensus on the network, that's a DPIN too. But what we're doing here is GPUs for AI purposes, and the reason is I needed it for heroes, and I thought there's a bright future here. There's going to be a lot of use cases, a lot of need, and not just in crypto, but in the trad world. Like disruption is going to be across all sectors. Little did I know agents were coming, right? They're marching through the door, kicking in the door, and it's perfect. So I went to Amsterdam to the TAP Hackathon where I won second place, and I showed one node. It was a mini computer with a GPU attached, a little powerhouse, and it was the first time I think anybody's done live performance art of DMT, because I was showing heroes being generated on that GPU node, right? So it was a lot of fun, and I took home one of those giant checks that they make, like Publishers Clearinghouse from back in the day, and they wouldn't let me on the plane with it.
Yeah, I was going to say that. That was that when it on the plane. How do you even do
Yeah.
that?
And I couldn't fold it or anything. So yeah, but and you should have seen me walking around Amsterdam with it because I didn't want to let it go. me cheesing down the street to Amsterdam, but yeah, so that was like, that's the first time I showed that off and enter the world, and I'm leaving out a bunch, but it's like, for agents need to run on a GPU. They don't need to, but they want to. They're most comfortable on a GPU, and one agent that wears different skins, I guess you could say, is a really efficient way to run a lot of agentic conversations or tasks on a single GPU. So, so what Big Noodle is, and I left out the name, but it's called Big Noodle, and what that is it's the start of a GPU DePIN on Bitcoin, and we're using TAPS Rails for this. And what it is a miner economy where people contribute their GPUs, and NVIDIA just launched or just announced their new RTX 5090, which is going to be such a game changer for all the day one people who can go out to Best Buy or your computer store, wherever you are, buy one of these, pop it in your computer, and when you download our stack, you're mining right away. You're mining day one. While the big data centers might take a year to roll out upgrades, right? So for a while, we may have the biggest compute capacity anywhere, right? Because miners are thirsty, man. They're in such bad shape on other chains that to get them over here is going to be a big deal. Then the agents that are running on these have infrastructure that a lot of people talk about TEEs and trusted execution environments and stuff, but we got hardware. I know every computer on the network. It's trustless and it's decentralized, but I know everything about that computer, and I know everything about the transactions that are taking place. So I got a trusted execution environment in the network layer and in the software. So it's like, I think as bubbles burst, and they do, and maybe we're seeing that happen now, I think we're going to see a second wave of agent projects come in that takes advantage of this kind of stuff, and I'm welcoming them with open arms. All AI16Z, all the stacks, ELIZA, and everything is going to be hosted here too. And I think I'll stop there because I've been rambling. But yeah, if you want, we can get, yeah.
If I go out and buy one of those NVIDIA GPUs, like $3,000, I can take that to my computer and just plug it in, and then I'm basically online with it.
Yeah, you would download the container that I built, and that has everything inside of it, and it can run headless. You don't have to do anything to it. You pop in some info like the wallet you want earnings to go to, and you're right as rain. So and the kind of things that'll run on it, it's all manner of thing that I push from the back end to that miner, and then you get paid for your compute cycles. And my job is to keep all those GPUs busy and getting paid.
And what exactly am I getting paid in?
So that's still trying to be figured out. I didn't really want to have a native token. So I talked to the TAP guys about maybe making it TAP actually. And then it'll act like ETH for them, where it's a token that's used for all kinds of stuff, but also as miner pay, as gas fees, right? So
wow.
So looking at that, also kind of to help out, give back a little. I took home a big check, a giant check. So looking out for that fam too. And but it's a hard decision. It's a tough decision, and I might tap you for opinions on this too later on.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You kind of making TAP more than what it really is. It's kind of taking it and making it its own validating system, like, you know what I mean, like where you can validate it and then roll it up on and then put it on Bitcoin as well, right? Is that something that's possible as well?
Well, yeah, exactly. And then it leads to other potentials opening up for how to use that token and how miners will care about it differently than traders will, right? But part of the story is that my agents need wallets, right? And so since since I was able to basically being on Tap Tuesdays with you guys and everything, it really gave me a tight connection to that ecosystem. So it was really nice to be able to basically tap Benny and say, "Hey, Benny, I need an API based wallet. Can we do something?" And he's like, "Yeah." So really, all the agents are an ordinal, and that inscription ID is also the name of your agent. So your agent always travels with your ordinal, and then there's a wallet connected to each agent, and that's a Tap wallet, and it gets the benefits also of Taproot Swap. So it's got the functions of both of those services in there.
Wow, yeah, that's incredible. That's really I didn't know any of that. Like that was so I'm really impressed, dude. Really impressed. But let's kind of get back to that. Then let's kind of jump through normal show here. But dude, I'm definitely excited to kind of get back into that. But big news today, US core PPI for the month of December was 0%. Forecast was 0.3. And the previous month, which was November, was 0.2, which basically means year over year inflation was zero. Zero, completely zero. So, which allows Jerome now, depending on tomorrow, because tomorrow we do get CPI, which is core price index, which is kind of the bigger deal of the two. But this is another data point where Jerome can continue this rate cutting cycle that we're in, and that's kind of what sparked Bitcoin to go from 60 to 90 to 100K originally, because the rate cuts started in September. We really didn't feel it until November. We got another one in December, and everyone is really hoping for another one in January. The president-elect Trump came out and he said the rates are still too damn high, so it's kind of another push in the right direction to continue this rate cutting cycle. What do you think about this? Are you a macro guy at all?
I mean, yeah, by default, I follow things, and my eyebrows get raised whenever I think it's going to have an impact here, right?
Yeah.
I'm not an expert by any means, but yeah, I get totally confused by this context in particular, and one reason is like this morning I saw that the IRS is pushing out around the stimulus checks, and I'm like, what? What's going on? So I wonder when we're gonna start seeing them, the money machine goes burr gifts again. Like I feel like we're getting there. There's and because of timing with the presidential change, everybody wants to look good on the way out and on the way in, right? So yeah, it's hard to really look at all the vectors on this and know what to believe and know what's going to actually have an impact. So I'm kind of a no comment right now, but it's crazy town for sure.
Yeah, I think things are about to get insane. I mean, we're a week away from Trump. Trump came out yesterday and he said President-elect Trump expected to issue executive orders related to crypto policies on his first day in office, and he's also throwing a thing called a crypto ball, which is like $1 million to get in to this event.
I didn't know about that.
It's hosted by David Sachs, and it's like, there's already Michael Saylor already bought a ticket, Brian Armstrong, and they're considering it a donation to the inauguration, but everyone who's done this has been invited to the crypto ball that is hosted by David Sachs, and it's really just like a meeting of the minds. Basically, everyone in that room is going to get told what is going to happen before it happens.
Yep. Yeah, and I didn't know about that. That's amazing. The
crypto ball.
Yeah. And my response here is whatever your feelings on Trump. I don't think this country really voted for the man so much. They voted for his meme. They voted for the narrative around him and what he creates. And his narrative on crypto is like, I wondered if he'd back it up once he's in, and because no president could wave a hand and make new laws happen and stuff. But it seems like he's here to back it all up and keep that energy in the room, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's kind of like when like you suppress something so hard, as much as this administration has done with Operation Choke Point. You choked the crypto exchanges off from the banks. People were getting debanked, just for sending $10,000 from their Coinbase account to their bank. Right, I know people personally that this has happened to. Elizabeth Warren, and her goon army was, going after everything that had the word crypto on it. A lot of big main crypto places went overseas, and if you try to use a lot of these sites, you have to have VPNs. You know, and this was all caused after FTX was just a huge failure, and they were kind of backing FTX. So once that happened, 2022, it was hard to be in crypto. It was hard to, like, I was one of the people who continued to be bullish when I should not have been. You're right. We're in a rate. I got real macro. I learned a lot about macro in that year because there was nothing else. Right. It was one of those things where it's like I just really sat down and learned and kind of, okay, this macro shit is something I personally need to understand. And you know, so now the next time I'm hearing them come out and say, hey, we're gonna raise rates for the next 6 months, I'm dumping everything. I'm done. I'm out. You know, but we might getting to a point now as well where, you know, maybe crypto goes on its own path now and doesn't, maybe leaves macro a little bit behind because of the fact that it was so suppressed. It was so pushed down. It was so humiliated, right? It was looked at as this big scam when we know there's real innovation that's happening, and it starts here because this is the only free market. I was just watching a video yesterday about how MEV is in the stock market heavily. Like every time you go to trade, they basically what is it? Jared from Subway your ass on every transaction, right? So I was like, that's way worse than it is here. But everything eventually, you know, TradFi stuff's going to come here, but it's going to be harder because we're in such a free market, and I feel like the next couple months are going to be insane. Yeah,
and I think you know, there's an ebb and flow happening now. Like when the tide's coming in for us, and it's going to make it harder for it to go out for the next regime, right? For the next for the next set of folks in Congress, and it's like, I don't know, the you know, I watch Caitlin Long against, I hope I'm getting her name wrong, from Wyoming.
No, you got it right.
Yeah. And I really like her, and she's kind of my crypto crush because of the way she talks, right? And she worked in the SEC, I believe, for a while, and she's been in this for ages. And one time I saw an interview with her, and she was asked a couple of questions, and like I could see the pain on her face because she gets so much pushback from government, and she's just trying to do the right thing and do it within their guardrails. You know what I mean? So maybe things really start to pop for Wyoming, which will be the model for the rest of the country. It's the reason Cardano moved there. Other chains, I think Kraken is based there. Like a lot of projects actually moved to Wyoming because of the hopium from her and her bank. And it's she hopes to be the model for all states. So yeah, I'll drink to that.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I love Caitlin Long. She's been Kathy Wood, obviously Senator Loomis. You know, then we have Crypto Mom in the SEC. I forget, I'm blanking on her name. And it's just been a lot of these women. And that's the thing about our space. I mean, if you look around, it feels like we're 99% men, right? But some of these women are really smart and very compassionate about you know, about crypto, and you're kind of seeing that happen. And I think that's going to bring a lot of other women in as well, because that's one thing we need here as well. We need to diversify a little bit in the sense of you know, when I look at my YouTube people who watch, it's like 98% dudes, which I love it, right? But it's like, in the sense of, we want mass adoption, if we want real world like initiatives and stuff happening, we need to kind of push the narrative of really smart, strong women are here as well, and we're kind of getting that from people like her.
I'm really glad you pointed that out, because I never noticed it. And I'm usually like, I pick up on that kind of stuff, but I didn't notice that. And they're the heroes here. They're the ones who are like really doing the hard work behind the scenes every day. So yeah.
100%, man. But speaking of Elizabeth Warren, she's in actually the news too. She urges Trump's Treasury pick Scott Bessent to consider stricter crypto regulations and open letters. She just doesn't quit, right? She doesn't quit on this. Obviously she won. She beat the lawyer guy from the XRP lawyer, which, you know, I hate XRP. That's like I just hate it. Just a sense of, you know.
But any L is an L, right? Any loss is a loss, though, right? Like, we don't want to see that.
No, I definitely want him to win, but I just hate XRP that much. John Deaton is his name. I just didn't, you know, XRP to me is just like, you know, Ripple is a company that makes, you know, $4 billion a year, and they sell $3.5 billion worth of XRP. So they're only making like a half billion dollars using their, I don't know. It's just, it makes me sick to my stomach. I hate it so much. It's just everything that's wrong with crypto. But you know, she did win, and you know, there's probably some XRP people here, and I apologize for that, but I just hate it. And anytime it comes up, I just like to trash it a little bit. But anyway, it's just funny that she just doesn't give up. She just seems like, you know, when I was younger, right? Like I was probably had a more of a democratic mindset, you know, that poor person, that
Yep.
you know, the Eeyore mindset. Everyone, you know what I mean? Everyone's always mean to me, type of thing.
Right.
And then she was looked at as somebody who was like a champion for those people. And now coming to the other side, now being, you know, financially literate and, you know, and able to work for myself, looking at people like her now on the other side of that, it's like they're just disgusting to me. And she's just somebody who just won't quit. She makes money from the bankers. She does every year she makes like about $4 to $5 million off giving speeches, and they're not paying her for the fucking speeches, right? They're paying her for other things, but they're using the speeches to pay her.
Yeah, I mean, something that is always at work in the machine of the U.S. is special interest, and let's never forget that Bitcoin and crypto is competition to the US dollar. So like for us to succeed here, it's got to happen in this paced way. Is that my opinion anyway? What do I know at the end of the day? But it's like it happens by you know, working alongside for a long time. And because otherwise we come on too strong and we're looking too cute, you know, the old system isn't going to take it lightly. So I think we'll keep seeing this happen for sure, but it gets better each year.
Yeah, it really does, especially now.
This year.
This year's going to change everything. Her voice isn't going to matter as much as it once did. So here's something that kind of bothered me. So Sony, we're all hyped for these big companies to come in, right? These big centralized behemoths of Sony. So Sony's Sonium L2 blockchain launch hits a bump as users criticize the platform's blacklisting of 2 contracts due to IP violations. I'm guessing someone came out with like something similar to Spider-Man or something like that, like Spider-Man like swap or something like that, and they immediately shut it down. So this is something you're going to see. You know, we want Apple, we want Sony, we want all these big companies to come in, but we got to play by their rules. And it's kind of like, no, like I'm, you know, this is why I love Bitcoin. There's no nothing like this there, right? So, and Ethereum for that matter too. Ethereum's not going to blacklist stuff. But how do you feel about this blacklisting of 2 contracts right off the bat here?
Yeah, so this chain actually got announced, I want to say towards the end of the pandemic is when I first heard about it. And you know, at that time, anytime we saw Starbucks making NFTs, anytime we saw a big brand coming on board, it was a good time. But I was really skeptical of this because it was about IP. And why do they care about IP? They care about protecting their IP. So we were at the height of like metaverse, you know, popularity, and my take on this is they saw that everything happening around crypto, Web3, and everything with Animoca creating a ton of IP and everything. I think they saw it as a potential future media vehicle, and they gotta protect their own IP because they own a lot. They own more than if you guys think you know how much they own, you're wrong. They own 3 times more than that. So yeah, I think they've always been out here, like they were always planning this as a way to plant a flag for protection of their IP and maybe become an IP broker moving forward. VV got like Marvel, Top Shots, you know, that kind of stuff was happening, but it was pretty casual. I feel like back in the day, there was lawyers involved, of course. It wasn't it wasn't totally casual, but it was like an experiment. And I think Sony stepped in saying like, all right, let's not experiment. Let's just protect ourselves from day one.
Yeah, 100%. And they're going to keep doing this. If you go over there and you try to deploy a contract, you'll still be able to deploy it. People can use it, but they're going to be nearly impossible to find, right? So I'm not 100% sure what blacklisting means. What do you get from that?
I don't know, and I don't know how they enforce an anon or you know, or a token issued in another country. But I always thought this was I was skeptical of this.
Yeah, 100%. A few more things here. Circle's USDC surges 79% in 2024, outpacing all stablecoins. I mean, you've seen this with what happened with Tether. The EU, you know, kind of blacklisting a little bit as well from their exchanges. And, you know, when Tether recently, as of yesterday, they're moving their headquarters to El Salvador, which is big news and stuff like that. But do you think USDC will be the top stablecoin? Or do you think something like Tether can come back, or PayPal's dollar, or do you see something else maybe coming as well?
I don't know enough to know, so I don't really have a comment on that. But I do love the the El Salvador part. Like they, not the most developed country yet, but this was all part of the plan to bring a lot there, and to see a stable coin be in that country along with their commitment to Bitcoin. Like I love that side of this story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have too much of a comment on the stable coins itself, because there's only a few that we all really trust, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you start looking at like what's happening with BRICS and what's happening with Russia announcing that they're going to adopt Bitcoin. I think that's just in the interim while they get up to speed with a BRICS dollar, you know, slowly, and in the shadows claiming some dominance. Like stable coins are super important. And so I think the top few are all solid plays. But yeah, I don't know if USDC, I wouldn't know why it would rise to the top.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking that, you know, I think it'd be best if we have 9 stable coins, right? Apple has a stable coin, PayPal would have already has one, like Microsoft has one. You know, like all these companies have their own. And what that's going to do, that's going to allow you to take, you know, your PayPal stable coin and then your USDC and lock them into an LP and earn on that. Right. For me, that's amazing, because it's 2 stable coins, locking them up. And that's going to create more opportunity for that. So where like in a bear market, let's just say we do enter one in, you know, 4 years from now, 2 years from whatever it is, and I'm sitting on stable coins waiting to buy Bitcoin cheap, it would be nice to be able to earn on that. And I think there's gonna be a lot of opportunity for that. Especially, I mean, I would love to lock these up in a smart contract, right? And hopefully I can do that with Arch and do that on Bitcoin, because that would be the top thing there. But yeah, definitely. And one thing, El Salvador, though, you know, I just realized Tether invested in Rumble, which is a free speech platform, you know, a YouTube, and then they moved to El Salvador. So El Salvador, free nation, you know, with Bitcoin, which is the freest money in the world, and now you have Tether, you know, there with Rumble. It's like it's all setting up to be perfect for that situation of El Salvador. I'm happy.
I'm keeping close eyes on El Salvador for sure. Maybe you and me will be hanging out on the beach,
dude,
over there.
I'm not. I tell Yagobis all the time, dude. I'm moving there. Once the Starlink is up there and it's good to go, and I can keep doing the show. I don't know. I haven't told my wife yet, but so that's still. I don't know if the kids want to learn Spanish, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, not off the table.
All right, here's the last thing. I thought this is funny. Polymarket users bet on whether Trump will say Bitcoin or Dogecoin in his own inauguration speech.
Right.
Dude, again, degens will be degens, right? They're betting, and if Trump's going to say Bitcoin or Dogecoin, so I'm going to make you take a side on this. Which gets spoken first by Donald Trump, Bitcoin or Doge?
Team Orange, Bitcoin.
Let's go.
I'm going with Bitcoin, because and gotta love Polymarket for this, right? Every day of the week. But yeah, it's folks like my mom probably haven't heard of Doge.
You'd be surprised because of Elon Musk, right? I mean, my mom knows what Dogecoin is, and I was like, "How do you know what that is?" Like, she's like, "Is Dogecoin like Bitcoin?" And I'm like, she's like, "Well, that's Elon Musk's coin, right?" I'm like, "No, it's not Elon Musk's coin," but you know what I mean? It's like
hats off to mom.
Yeah, man. Let's go over the Bitcoin fear and greed. I make Yagobi guess. I'm just gonna make you guess, right? So last Tuesday was a 78. Yesterday was a 61. My hint to you is we're not far off that 61.
Okay, I think it's pretty bloody out there right now. So I think tomorrow is gonna be dramatic, maybe because of what happened between yesterday and today. But I'm gonna say 59.
Gotta go the other way. A little bit more bullish than I would think it is, but yeah, man. But 78 last week to 63 today. That's pretty drastic. You know, we're getting closer to that neutral, but I think we actually start moving this way. I think 7 days away from Trump, I think we can see in the 90s by the end of the month.
Yeah, and Shizzy, I play along at home when I'm watching you guys, and I get it wrong every single day. I've never been right.
I'm lucky enough to be on this side where I don't have to guess.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's kind of get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by BitPerp. BitPerp is going to be the leading leverage trading platform in the entire Bitcoin ecosystem, because they're going to allow you to take leverage on your runes, on your BRC20s, and much more. Any L2 project that you guys like, you'll be able to take leverage on it with BitPerp. Their paper trading competition is starting up. probably within the next 2 or 3 days. And what they've told me is they want to enrich their users, guys, using BitPerp. Paper trading the next couple of days, only using your time, could potentially get you a massive airdrop. I mean, they want to do something along the lines of what some of these bigger airdrops have done in the last couple of months, really, with Magic Eden and the one before that as well. So definitely take advantage of this, guys. Don't not use this. Like, definitely get on this day one. It's free money. And they want to enrich their users. So kind of stupid not to. Check out bitperp.io. And they got a big announcement coming up next couple of days. We have a meeting with them on Wednesday to kind of make sure that this is all going to go in place. But they're going to be doing something really cool in the future as well. But check out Bitperp. But let's kind of get into that Bitcoin price action. We're kind of going down right now. I wonder if there was some news or something. But as you can see, this is funny to see, because this is something me and Jake were talking about yesterday, where Bitcoin was sideways for a long time, and he's actually thinking we get a lot more sideways here. And I would love to kind of know your opinion on that. But real quick, we did see this giant wick of a candle yesterday. Everyone thought the world was gonna Bitcoin was over, right? We were dipping. Then Trump's news came out, and then boom, right back at it. We finished pretty much where we opened, and then another bullish candle here. But we're kind of on the we're still doing pretty good here. We're still at 95,000, which is really good. But everyone wants to see us over 100. But I would love to know your opinion on potentially going sideways till April or May here, being in this between 107 and 86. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah. No, so this isn't my strong suit, but I listen to a lot of people smarter than me on this, and I think the inauguration is going to cause some price action here, but it's going to be quick. We're going to feel it momentarily. And then I think it's going to be sideways for a while. Pardon. I think we are going to be resting for a bit, and but then it's going to want to swing back so hard, and it's going to want to break through. So I think good times are surely in store for us. But I'm keeping my eye on the 19th and 20th for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely do see us getting back over near this 100. Another thing Jake said to me yesterday is he sees a lot of this happening, right? Where it's just kind of like we go sideways here, right? We dance in here, and then we kind of and then we just kind of just jump up, right? Just do something like that, and then sideways again, and then same thing, and then just kind of do the same thing over and over and over, and then sideways again. I don't know. That to me is not a fun bull. I mean, obviously, awesome number go up, but we're sitting here in November 2025, only at like 200K. When I'm kind of more expecting, and I'm probably not thing, but I'm kind of expecting something like this, right? Where we just fly up to about 700K here. Do you think something like that is going to happen? Just upwards momentum, sideways.
So, question for you, since you do this a lot more than me. This is your expertise. Like, what have we seen in the past in this way after first year cycle? What's been the big outlook on like year 2 of a 4-year cycle?
Yeah, so let's try to jump right into it. So we can kind of go all the way back to 2017, right? So this is 2016 was the halving. The halving was probably right around, probably in like April, July area. So that was the halving. We just go sideways, and then you just see this upward momentum. Like we get this up, sideways, and then boom. It's kind of exactly what I'm expecting here.
Yep.
I'm expecting us to be right here. This is kind of where I think we are at in our current cycle. I feel like this cycle is going to mimic, in my opinion, what we've seen in 2017, 2018, because we have a lot of new people in Bitcoin for the first time that weren't here in 2017 who maybe don't look at this. And I feel like we're going to get this upward rampage, from, let's say this is like 200K, and there's rampage up to 700K because everyone's FOMOing in at that point. And that's kind of what I'm seeing for what, but other people are kind of thinking maybe it's very similar to the last one, which was pretty much the same, right? We go up, sideways, and then boom. But then we have, that downward momentum train that everyone thought it was over there. And then one more pop, and then we just go we basically went sideways for a while. And then, which everyone thinks was highly manipulated by FTX, because they had billions of dollars to throw around to kind of push the narrative in the way they want. They shorted this whole thing, and they pumped that back up, right? So this was very manipulated. We probably should have seen something on the lines of this, right? Getting us over that 100K mark
Agreed.
instead of this manipulation that everyone kind of knows about.
Yep. Yeah. And I think there's no reason to think that this won't be more of the same, but way more dramatic because of all the factors, because of all the new folks here, and really the trad system is paying more attention. So like all hints point to a really great run up when it happens.
Yeah. All right.
And
All right.
I know you've predicted 700 in the past.
I'm still there. I'm still 7. I think it's going to be like 69, like 690,000 and like some change, like right there at 700K. I think that's kind of 69, 420. 420 would be like, right?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. That was the high last time, right? 69,420. That was the high, and I think we do it again.
And I know we're living. Then I know we're living in a simulation, and someone's just messing with us.
But dude, but that's degens, right? That's what we do.
Yeah,
we put our stop orders, right? Or at these crazy numbers that we love of 69, 420. So, but yeah, we'll see. I'm still pretty confident in 700K. I don't know why. I just feel it. I just feel it inside, but we'll see. All right, let's kind of get into the roll call here, guys. I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice. I'm gonna find out. So I have this list right here. And we have someone new that we added. Nighthawk, congratulations, you, my friend. You for the first time. Yes, you're still in the lead with 4 on the year. I'm I have it here. I'm gonna keep going with it, and then we're gonna give whoever wins, we're gonna give something special to. Maybe we haven't figured it out yet, but we're gonna make sure it's well worth it, and that'll probably be for the year. So we're gonna see who has like 64 wins and say something like that. It's gonna be fun to see. It's kind of like a little experiment that we're doing. But congratulations to Nighthawk. It's kind of we definitely like to give back to our community, and we're gonna figure out more and more ways to do so. But this is just something that it started off as like kind of a joke, not a joke, but like it was like first is first. It's Bitcoin, and then it ended up being like people were fighting for it, and now we're like, all right, well, we have to use that, right? So. And now we're going to do something like this.
I love it. And I saw my boy PJNZ on the list with 1. And he's the homie. Drift.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I'll run you guys through. It hasn't been keeping up, but Mike's World was the day 1. Yasher won day 2. Chief Axel won day 3. Yasher won 4 and 5. PGNZ won day 6. Yasher won day 7. Webdro 8. Nagi 9, and then Nighthawk won number 10. So it's crazy. It's already been 10 shows for this year. It's fucking It's flying by, man. It's flying by.
Yeah.
But shout out to all you guys who are here every single day, man. Appreciate it. But let's kind of get into it. Webdro was number 2. He's a super fan, dude. Everyone is loving you today, bro. Webdro said, when we have a local private AIs that know about everything about us, permissionless P2P will boom. Yeah, that's pretty nuts to think about.
Yeah, and I'm right. So, and I'm completely in the camp of P2P. By the way, like everything I'm working on is really meant to be a trustless version of you that you can task and train up. So we'll get into it, but I'm with you.
Tim Baker is here. AOD Art himself. Shout out to Tim Bake. Danny Boy, another one of our mods. We appreciate Danny Boy. Chief Axel's here. Appreciate you, my friend. Yasher, my guy, super fan. Yasher, big part of the community. Anagi is here. We got someone new here. A Tad Digital super fan. I guess is one of your people. Definitely. Shout out to. How do you say that? Tadical.
He's Taddy on the Discord. So
gotcha. Shout out to Taddy, man. Big part of your community. MA is here. Oracle's here. I love how your community comes here. You know what I mean? Like that's love, bro. That's
love. More community right here. What's up, Oracle?
Oracle. Shout out to you, my friend. Then we have Shred is here. Shout out to Shred, Mats, Ricky, Choda, EF is in the building. Augustine Gray. Then we have Patty Poo, the Bitcoin machine himself. Shout out to Patty Poo. Steamy J is here. Mike Bennett. Gaza, Mandara, Fractal Bitcoin Scam. I don't know if it's a scam, but it's definitely an experiment. No is here. Ant-Man is here. And then followed up with Mike Bennett. Got to wake up with the Roosters to enter first. Yeah. I mean, dude, Nighthawk was 4 p.m. yesterday. Like, I think I put the video up at like 4 o'clock because it depends on what time. But like a lot of times I'll go get the kids and then come home and then all right, let me put up tomorrow's video. And then 5 minutes later, there's comments in the chat, but they don't always make it though because of the YouTube deletes them. And I feel bad because I'll go and see that like, oh well, he got first, and then I'll come back in tomorrow morning, load it up, and it's all deleted. And
I've tried to do it from the graveyard. I've tried to do it from the graveyard too, and I'm always erased. Yeah.
I don't. It's nothing that we do, man.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Let's kind of just jump into more about you, bro, if you don't mind. So, you know, I definitely want to dig into the show and leash into AI power. But like I feel like, you know, what you've been building from the beginning has been AI, and before anyone was really talking about it. Like, I remember you mentioned it earlier. Like, I remember kind of like being in that, judging that. I remember me, Yagobi and the Black Runner, we were all in a group chat together while that was happening, and we were talking about it, and we were just blown away, right? Because like we didn't have AI, generative art, DMT, like it was just like that was before it was even DMT, but we were just like blown away by it. But kind of talk about what Heroes was at that time and like potentially what that's going to be before we jump more into Big Noodle.
Yeah, so I kind of got, I don't know if, I guess orange is the right color here again because it's Bitcoin, but I got orange pilled into DMT. When I first learned about it, I was like, oh, I could do something with this, you know. I wasn't interested in making a collection when it was about PFPs so much, right? I always appreciated meme coins because it's like culture on chain in its rawest form, right? But I also never felt like I had community or needed to create something there. I come from more of the technical side of things. So when I started learning about that, I'm like, oh, I got something I can work on here. And I started building out the Heroes collection, which is like nothing about it is arbitrary. Everything about it is a reference. And I took it to another place where, and this is still coming. The project is still, you know, it's still got a future and it's got a lot of deliverables that's coming. And one of those is that there's a whole storyline and a lore that's written by DMT. So I'm not authoring it. I just set up the system and macro, the blockchain itself, the mempool, those drive what happens with these Heroes characters. And I'm going to be releasing today kind of a music video showing a bunch of the characters because I keep working on the stack. And, you know, AI it might even move faster than crypto. So like there's always new tools to play with. There's always new stuff to tweak. And imagery is amazing. Video is amazing. You know that agents and LLMs are amazing. So these are all getting combined now, right? And so I think anybody who's interested, if you're not following me on Twitter, please do, because I'm doing a campaign basically through January and February of a bunch of stuff, and today is going to be a new music video. So that is going to show off a lot of where Heroes is at and what's coming. And I'll be releasing it here and on the Bitcoin Big Noodle BTC account also, by the way, Shizzy. But yeah, so Heroes is an active Ordinals project, and I'm blurring the lines with agents because I'm looking at agents these days, and I'm seeing there's a lot of fun happening, but there's going to be another wave and a lot of usefulness there. And I kind of want to be known as like the big brain project that's building with a long-term, you know, kind of vibe. And I'm using Heroes to amplify all of it. I'm using Heroes to show it all off. And I'm also going to do stuff like probably offer you an Ordinal Revolution agent that's trained on all your episodes, you know.
Let's go.
Yeah, so like stuff like this is it's going to all get better. It's not just waifu chatbots. And with wallets, like really anything's possible, but there's a lot to worry about too. And so I'm using Heroes. Heroes has always been my beta, my test bed of everything I do. And so that's going to keep happening. And every Heroes holder, by the way, gets an agent automatically. So it's one way to get it. I'm going to do a launch on Launchpunks where we're selling agents as Ordinals. It's a collection that's related to Heroes, so it's like a whole new character. But yeah, Heroes is to to me, it's the OG collection, and anybody who was here at day one and provided that development roadway, that runway, they're all gonna make out. They're gonna keep making out good because I'm taking care of them the whole way through.
100%, dude. I kind of want to show it as well here. This is your collection, man. These things are dirt cheap right now. So if you guys are interested in that, not financial advice whatsoever, this is his project. So definitely check this out, guys. I'm bullish on this for sure. But man, some of these look phenomenal too.
Yeah, and the magic here is I'll just shout this out. These aren't JPEGs on chain. We wouldn't want to inscribe something so heavy on Bitcoin, and these are very high resolution. These are text inscriptions of basically the ingredients that make up the image, and then it's generated. And each one is different because of the inscription ID as a seed, and then references on chain. And that's what DMT is all about, right? So these are none of these are by accident. They're replicable. They get created the same way each time, and they are really efficient.
Yeah. So you mentioned that these are all going to be. So each character is going to be an agent.
Yeah.
So wow. And are they already going to be like named, or is that something that you could potentially do? Can you, as somebody who holds one of these, are you going to be able to like give your characters backstory, or do they already have their backstories?
Yeah. So when Heroes came out, the plan was always that you could name them and you can modify them. They have like character stats, which kind of define how they do in, say, a DMT driven battle or whatever, right? And by the way, the whole game plays out on Twitter. It's not like a video game or an app that you have to download. You contribute by engaging with it, and then you watch the next episode of what happens with Heroes, right? It's like a Netflix show at the end of the day. We basically gather all the data that drives the next episode. Now, as agents, though, they're able to start talking to each other, right? So you can say, I know you're from Philly, so I'm not outing you. You mentioned it before.
No, a million times. This is cool.
So like you can point out that that's your location and you represent the Philly Rose. Like you could be part of that team. So when things pop off around Philly, you and them, that engagement drives how that story goes. So I'm originally from Brooklyn. I'm in San Francisco now, but I still represent Brooklyn always. And and so like that's my team, and so yeah. I mean, I'm rambling now, but the agents are going to kind of level this whole thing up, and of course, the agents will do all the things we want an agent to do outside of this too.
Yeah, 100%. It's really interesting now that now we're kind of seeing these AI agents, especially started with AI XBT and kind of moving along there as well. With that ended up being one of the first ones that everyone talked to, right? Everyone was as soon as I found it, but now you're kind of taking these characters and putting these agents inside, so that actually gives them even more utility. I mean, you're building an army of agents here that are all dedicated to what you're building. Phenomenal.
Yeah. So when you hear about agents being released, they're in small numbers usually, and they're usually clones of whatever. But the way I'm building it out allows me to scale up and keep them individual because they're locked to an ordinal, which is where the individuality comes from. So yeah, I'm talking about tens of thousands as an army, and they can work as a swarm and go pull off a GameStop if we wanted it to, or do the individual tasks that you wanted to do, and that's a lot of power. And so Heroes is going to help test that out. I got another plan to do the same thing with other. Speaking of Sony and their their IP stuff, I tried something where I had agents scrape everything public on a different kind of fandom, which is Star Trek, and that spans decades, and you got all ages who are into it, right? And Paramount, please don't come sue me. We do it with love, but the idea is I'm only scraping what's publicly available online. I'm treating the agent like a browser, having a different kind of experience. And I want to see what happens when we can step through a show or a movie, like the script, but you experience it from a different point of view through an agent that you talk to. So you can interact with, say, Geordie LaForge if the action is actually on Picard somewhere else, right? But you're still going through the movie. And this is an experiment to see what we can do to capture mind share from non-crypto people, and have them play on these rails, because this is still crypto rails and agents that have immutable personalities that are inscribed on Bitcoin. So that's going to be really interesting too. And so from the outset, I kind of made it easy for myself to plug in personalities.
I love that. Yeah, man, that's gonna be so cool to see. And it's gonna start with like that type of stuff and kind of bring people in. Yeah, dude, it's gonna get nuts. The more I think about it, the crazier, like the possibilities are just endless, right? So,
Yeah.
but let's kind of dig into Big Noodle. Where does Big Noodle fit into all this? Because I know you mentioned earlier that you were building this and then you found a need, and
Yeah.
that's where Big Noodle kind of came from.
Yeah. So Heroes was running on centralized hardware on GPU hosts, and I needed to decentralize it just because philosophically I wanted to be decentralized from beginning to end. And so I thought proof of work went out the window on Ethereum. It exists in smaller ways on other chains, but there's an opportunity to maybe do this here and be prepared for a big future for AI, needing GPUs. So it started with the Heroes art generation, but because I never want to store that art somewhere, I want it to always be generative, always on the fly. And with agents, it means that we can make immutable agents. You can own an agent that can't be changed because it's online, on blockchain. So it can really be born from blockchain. And then the decentralized nature gives us a lot of security over it. So it's trustless and secure. And right now, a lot of other projects are just wrapping OpenAI's stack or CLUD. And I've heard you talk about it. Like, why have an agent that you have to buy in with an expensive token if you're just using ChatGPT to talk to it, right? And it's a really fair argument. And the same thing pisses me off. So we're not doing it that way. We're storing the LLMs on chain, but I'm using very small LLMs in order to keep it's pretty dystopian for the agent, but the agents are pretty stupid. It only knows what you teach it, and it's tasked only with what you want it to do. And this way, they're not going to hallucinate, because a lot of hallucinations comes from trying to tap a big model that wants to know everything. And so when you hone in on something like trading and not wanting to know what's hot exactly right now today, it doesn't know that information, so it starts to make shit up. And so the way I've gotten around that is I'm hosting small LLMs that keep it really a blank canvas. It doesn't have much up here until you start telling it what it needs to know. And so in this way, we're going to have the high frequency trading. We're going to have knowledge of memes. We're going to have knowledge of stonks. And one of the projects that's come here is a DeSci project, which is amazing because I'm not academic. I don't know the pain points there. But she knows everything about what it takes to publish science, right? And it's like an agent can do a lot of this work, and that's one of the first things that's going to be built here too. So it's kind of like, I think all the unforeseeables and where this is going is bigger than any bubble we're going to experience here today,
Yeah, dude, that sounds amazing. So not only are you building, so people are actually seeing what you're building and actually reaching out to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And that DeSci project was a result of showing in Amsterdam at the Tap Hackathon.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah, man. So you're going to be it's so cool now, though, just thinking about it too. Obviously crypto mining is awesome, but basically AI mining, right?
Yeah.
And then you're setting up a network for these AIs to live on. That's all decentralized because all these people running the nodes are the ones that are basically on will it work like a blockchain where it's like the blocks are going or how does that work?
No, not exactly. So you could think of, since we're locking down the network, our view of the network and the machines, the bare metal computers, I know if they popped out a CPU or changed the RAM. That's how granular it gets. And I'm treating every agent almost like an IP address. I don't know if you're old enough to remember, but back in the early days of the internet, it's like you didn't have a URL. You didn't have dynamic DNS pointing you to URLs. You saw the whole path to someone's hard drive, to the file that you're accessing.
Oh,
Like,
wow. That's
that's
before
how.
my time for sure.
Yeah, that's how like not cloaked everything was. And so in an effort to be like zero knowledge and trustless and apply it to agents, like how do you apply these terms to
Yeah.
agents, right? It's in exactly this way. And so we know everything that's going on with them. We know every transaction. We don't know who you are. And when you're trading maybe OTC in a Discord, you and that other human, you don't need to know each other because the agents do, because they're born and operating on the same network. So it's so that's a really important key factor, and that's totally the opposite of wrapping Chat GPT in a chat app. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question. I kind of rambled a bit there, but
Well, it kind of pushed me to another question. Where all these AIs are kind of living in these nodes now. Are like if I teach my Pacific AI, the one I own,
yep.
if I'm like teaching it running on your network, does the rest of the network kind of get that information as well? Do they, like, if I teach mine, I'm going to make you like Albert Einstein smart. Like I'm going to give you all this stuff. Hey, read this, read this, read this, read this.
Yep.
Will that benefit the rest of the network?
So doing it two ways. One is the network swarm. So for the first few months, I'm going to black box this to prove and disprove out some assumptions, right?
Gotcha.
I'm not a beast of a trader myself, but I have a plan on stuff to test. And those learnings, we're going to vet out certain processes, right? In some cases, it'll look like a bot. You can use a bot to watch candles and do limit orders all day, right? But what an agent can do that a bot can't is going to be scraping for alpha, and making this really refined alpha funnel, right? And so when those agents come back with that info, and the parent agent is called an orchestrator typically, when that orchestrator kind of rifles through all this millisecond updates of alpha, it's going to decide what to task the swarm with. Now, your agent, you can just have it. It's kind of like operating in a mining pool, let's say, or a liquidity pool. You can just throw your agents in that swarm, and it'll do what the orchestrator is deciding it's good at, right? And some of them could be big swings. Some of them could be really safe swings. But then you can also define your own agent, train it up by giving it documents, giving it PDFs, telling it what you want it to do. And I was trying to figure out the value chain for that. So like when Shizzy, you make the bot of your dreams and it's intelligent, and maybe you have a few, so they're talking to each other, they're specialists at different things. You have created value that nobody else has, right?
Yeah.
Anywhere. You can maybe start a business on that, like a lot of these other tokenized agents. But maybe you want to get a few more blank agents and clone them up with the same training data and sell them. And you can, because it's an ordinal, right? So that's why I kind of went away from a token-based project and an ordinals-based project, because I think there's a value chain that can be created individually based on your own needs, and you resell that.
Wow, man. It's so cool. Like it's so different. It's almost like, instead of doing a coin, just have a new agent pop up, and the winner of that, of the, people that are giving those power, you just feed them with more and more swarms of agents that they deploy. Right. It just sounds crazy, but it's definitely something that's really cool.
Yeah, I heard something that really stuck with me, and I don't know who said it, so I'm just stealing it now. But it's crypto is all about scarcity, and AI is all about abundance. These two don't mix well.
Yeah.
So finding a value chain somewhere in the middle is, I think, is where magic can be made, and that's what I'm aiming for. So like I'm pretty obsessed with like where does abundance and scarcity come together in a way that works?
Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna take a look at your site real quick, because you definitely get me hungry going to the original. So let me refresh it real quick. So the donut, dude, it's awesome. I love it. The first time I was like, oh, I'm going to Dunkin' Donuts later, and then Tom's in there, and it's really cool. What's this about?
You scroll,
That's cool. Oh, that's so cool.
And this is getting a big update this week, by the way.
Really awesome, dude. Really awesome. But anything else you want to jump to about Big Noodle before we kind of jump into the next thing?
No, I think that's about it. I just think I guess we could say this, that Big Noodle is thinking of a lot more than what's getting the attention today. So I feel like there's a wave one that's all been amazing for agents. You know, it's the lines were blurry about whether it's useful, if it's funny, if it's a meme, and like that's I think that's how all these things have started. Like in the past, we had different waves of like ICO to DeFi
Yeah.
to NFTs, right? And and the lines were a little blurred until they found their containers to really sit in snugly. And I think that's what this first wave of agents is going through. Um, a few days ago, I would have said the bubble's like sure to burst, folks. Like you know, and actually, like everything's red last night. So
Yeah.
so maybe it's the bursting, or maybe it's just because you know, a lot of assets are down across the board. But I want to be like leading wave two, where there's a lot more thought put into the project, and it's a lot more substantial, and we're not just wrapping Chat GPT. Not dissing those projects, of course, but they were important to kind of carve
Yeah.
a path. But I plan to come on strong with Big Noodle really soon. So yeah, that's it.
I'm excited too because it's infrastructure, right? You're not
Mhm.
just building a project that's not. You're building a project that potentially people can build projects on. I
Yeah,
think that's the most incredible part about our industry here is a lot of people aren't building. I mean, you could right now jump to virtuals and make a $10 million project tomorrow if you really wanted to.
yeah,
But you're building infrastructure to kind of build and keep the process, going. It's not like a pump and dump. It's not like anything like we've seen where you're creating Dora, who's a travel explorer,
yeah,
right? But when Expedia has an AI bot, that's freaking amazing. You know
yeah.
what I
Right,
mean? Like,
right,
why
right.
would I use Dora the Explorer when I can use Expedia with their process already built in, and I can have that AI put my whole trip together, right? The
Yeah,
travel agent's
exactly.
job is
And
dead.
I wouldn't bet on. I wouldn't build a business that wants to compete with Expedia or OpenAI or any of the others that are
Exactly.
building the large models. Like that's
Yeah.
not the sandbox I want to play in. I want to do something that adds some really specific value. So the more I think about it, the more it felt right to treat this like almost an accelerator for projects that get built. So like I want people to come build here and build with whatever stack you want. It's easy for me to support everything. Um, and and then become like just part of that big brain, the mind share of those projects too.
100%. Yeah, that's amazing. And then all that's going to do too, it's going to build up, Big Noodle because a sense that when someone comes in, kind of build on it, they're kind of giving everything that you've built even more momentum, right?
Yeah.
Even more.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an inner workings that people can come and build on it. So, and if I was somebody who wanted to potentially build on this, what you're building here, what do I got to do?
Well, when we fully launch with the user interface, it's no code. It's meant to be totally easy to do. So we're gonna have a whole bunch of actions that are vetted already, right? So you can just I don't know if there'll be puzzle pieces on screen, or I don't know how they fit together, but it's going to be a really easy way to drag and drop abilities. So if you wanted to make a trading bot, you don't need to use any of the stuff we vetted. You could go on your own, and you can make it follow the Twitter accounts you want it to, and specialize. But we're going to give you a bunch of tools that we already say this is how it's worked for us, and this is an example of how it's worked for us.
Yeah.
Add this to your agent and just set it to work.
And then I just got to reach out to X, right? Get an API, and we'll be able to hook that
Yeah.
API up right up to my agent.
Yeah. So Telegram is really easy. Discord's easy too. Like if you wanted to play in those spaces, we're looking at all the Asian socials too. Someone on the team is able to handle that. So so that's cool. With Twitter specifically, I have a limit of 10 accounts I can have on
Gotcha.
via API, and that might be changing to 5. So I can't spin up all those accounts. People will need to
Yeah,
basically.
but I've already looked into it. I actually went to the X's premium site. It's like I think it's like $200 a month or something like that. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was pricey. And so I looked into it, and it can get all the way up to like $4 grand depending on how many APIs
Yeah,
like you want.
you don't need that to spin up the API for Twitter. You could do that for free or possibly at the $8 level.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And yeah,
Gotcha.
then you paste that in, and now your
Yeah.
agent is also on Twitter, right? But it
And
can trade Twitter without that, by the way. It just can't post.
Gotcha. So I could do that, let's just say in the future, like with Ordinal Revolution's account. Like I can have an AI bot just kind of basically every 4 hours come in and just give the price update of, you know, potentially hook up a Magic Eden AI APIs where I'm seeing the runes prices and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. And
wow, that's incredible.
And by the way, I think the ideas of like KOLs and what bots do on Twitter, it'll change because we'll go through this evolution of what's annoying and what's not, right? Because it's going to get so flooded. So the magic here is that you can really easily tweak it. You can make it not be annoying, basically.
And that's what I want. I don't want it to like give me an opinion. I just want it to give me the facts. Right? Just give me the top 5 trading volume in the last 20 minutes. Like that's all I want. Right? And stuff like that. So yeah, man. Dude, it's exciting, man. I'm so thankful to have you here and really break that down for us. Absolutely awesome. But let's kind of jump into some cookie DAO. So this is something that you kind of wanted to jump into. I've actually, this is cookie DAO fun. I've actually not really spent some time here. I did check it out in the beginning, but then for some reason I thought I needed cookie tokens to use it. But you're saying that that's only for the premium stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. The premium stuff is what you got to buy in for. But just seeing this chart is really, really interesting. And if you want to go dark mode, it's at the top right, by the way. Not to nitpick, but
where'd it go? Oh, hold on. Yeah, there it is. Awesome.
So
cool.
So yeah, the interesting thing about this page is we get to see, first of all, a total market cap at the top left, and it also talks about engagement. So if you notice on where it has the chain selection, we see Solana, we see some chains there, but we don't see Bitcoin. So hopefully we're gonna be the catalyst to change that, right? But there's a lot of projects, but we only need to look at some of the top. And it's interesting because like a week ago, I think we were at let me see, I took some notes. Everything was so frothy. I think we were at the entire agent space was at an 18 billion market cap last week. And just to put that in perspective, some individual meme coins are close to that. Like this space is actually pretty small. The attention is here. The attention's huge. But looking at your screen, smart engagement, it's showing it's on a downtrend. But but basically the whole market cap of AI agents in general is pretty small. And maybe that's because the leaders are virtuals and AI16Z, right? There's a lot of room for growth is what that says. And you know, there's the trading is amongst tokens that represent projects that don't maybe have a lot of substance. And again, you know, I'm not here to diss anybody, but even the popular ones aren't offering me a lot to chew on. So that's why I think there's a lot of room to grow, and I think a second wave is going to be really important. But like looking at these top projects, you know, virtuals is always there. AI16Z is always there. There's been recent news, a meltdown with the founder and with the team. So I don't know what that's all about, but that's also had an effect on token. Griffin is not even out yet, and it's like, you know, it's on the chart. It's top 5, and that's because you get to edit your agents and do stuff with them. So it's a bit of what we're talking about, but it's on Solana. I think Sequoia, so I don't see Sequoia there now, but Sequoia, it's a funny name because that's a VC and it's like AI16Z, they did wordplay. But I look at all of these and I'm like, Fartcoin is here and it doesn't actually have an agent. It's just created by an agent. So like, I'm super bullish because I just feel like, not just because I'm building here, building here means I have a little bit of insight. And my insight is we're super freaking early, you know. There's a lot of room to grow, and let the bubble burst, and we're going to see a new wave happen, and it's going to keep evolving.
Do you think that bubble has burst though? I mean, in the last 3-4 days, we've seen virtuals and a lot of other stuff down 20, 25, 30, 40%. Especially, I was, to your point, Sequoia, I remember seeing it close to 80,000, and then today it was at 50. I'm sorry, 80 million, and today was at 50 million.
The last 24 hours alone was scary, and everything. If you scroll down, every one of those mini charts. Oh, sorry, on the main page. Yeah. You got it. If you scroll down on more. So all of that was red. There was nothing green except Pippin, I think, and a couple more. And like it looked bad yesterday. So things are changing a little, and I'm not monitoring this every hour, but I think there's this, like anything else, will have its ebb and flows, but it's not going away. I think we know that. I think agents are just not going away. So maybe the bubble is burst, or maybe there's still some gas in the tank for the bubble itself. But I think it's safe to say agents are here.
Yeah, 100%. I do have a question for you. Like, this is something that I've really truly been thinking about, and I'm just curious what your opinion is. Can these agents perform smart contract like decentralization for me? Like, if basically if instead of having a smart contract, would it be possible for me to use an agent in the sense of, hey, this is a liquidity pool, this is the swap. If somebody wants to do a swap, you take from the liquidity pool and get out, but that's all you do. You didn't. This agent does not react. This agent does nothing but do what it's told to do in simple forms, to where you can just probably just make it into something that looks like, sushi swap or whatever, to where an agent's just in the back end doing all these things for you. Is that possible?
Yeah. So two comments there. It's absolutely possible for a new kind of developer that exists today, which is the no-code developer. It's the developer who's using AI to write code, but you're still looking at code and you're still in a coding environment, right? So, and you should still be looking at the code it spits out, have some understanding of it. That's where we're at today. It's totally capable of doing a smart contract, but I would say it's dangerous to do a smart contract without that kind of knowledgeable skimming, right? Tools like Quen and others are great at code, better than ChatGPT, better than Claude. There's models that are specific for code that is where you'd go for that. But and you don't have to be a coder, but that's where it's at today. I predict it's going to be in no time, able to do what you want, and it can be. You can trust the code to be good, but there's another way this might work out. So if you're talking about liquidity provisioning, right? Playing the LP, and like, I don't want to bet on tops myself, but I basically want to put 1,000 assets in there and basically treat it like limit orders that I don't have to think about, right? And let it ride its own wave. I think that's going to be much easier for an agent to do and tell to do, because those tasks are really simple. So those are the kind of hooks I want to build into Big Noodle, because I want to do that too. I don't want to individually, LP 1,000 assets. Not that I have 1,000 assets, I wish, but it's like, that's the kind of thing that an agent is perfect for, because it's not just a bot doing a repeat task. It's doing the bot work, but can also be a little smart about it and think about what those stop orders should be.
That's awesome. Yeah. Because for me, my favorite thing to do is when LPing is when I'm trying to sell out of a coin. Like when I'm trying to sell out of a coin, let's just say, for instance, dog hits this crazy number. I want to take my dog and take USDC or a stable coin, put it up against each other. So as people are, bullish, because it's like, they're buying the dog and they're feeding me back to stable. So I'm technically selling in as the price goes up. That's my favorite thing to do. That's how I DCA out of a lot of stuff. And hopefully it works that way, but if it goes the other way, I kind of DCA into dog, right? So people are taking my USDC and feeding me back the dog. Right. So that is my favorite part of LPing. I don't LP for the fees. I mean, the fees are awesome, but at the same time, it's kind of a way to DCA in or DCA out, depending on how the market is doing, right? So that's my biggest thing about Bitcoin is like, I want, obviously we don't have smart contracts here. I want to get to a point where Runes is inside of, it looks like Uniswap, right? When I go to a Uniswap, but in the back end, it's an AI just doing everything for me. And you said basically that's possible.
Bullish. This is, I'm building it. And so
let's go.
So we're and I think this is like a really great strategy just for bags. Like, it's a great way to do things. Let the agent do it though. And it's the nice thing is the agent can also go out and look at sentiment. It can know what's happening with the dog community, and it can know what's going on other than just charts, right? And that might be useful, it might not, but you know, it's so different here than Solana and Ethereum or Base. Like Solana has Meteora and Radium for this kind of thing. Base, you could use Uniswap. There's Aerodrome. I didn't know these until I researched them because I don't use them. So so these are new names to me aside from Uniswap. But I looked at the capabilities and I was like, damn, like none of this is here yet. Like it's we're so crippled in Bitcoin for now. But the agents are going to be able to go across chains too. And something I didn't mention that I think you in particular might like this, or I want your opinion. So I mentioned the heroes and I mentioned the launch of agents for Big Noodle, but I'm going to do other phases where I'm taking the inscription ID of every ordinal and I'm putting it in the metadata of a Solana launch and a ETH launch and maybe a Base launch, so that there's a wider reach to those audiences. And they don't have to care that they're using an ordinal inscription ID to control their agent. They can stick to their Phantom wallet or whatever. They can stay in Solana land and et cetera, but they're essentially on Bitcoin rails. And that might be a part of the draw, where they might not care at all, right? And it doesn't matter. And that's also going to allow us to do things like use Meteora or use Uniswap for this kind of LPing. Even though at the end of the day, the workflow all ties back to Bitcoin, you know, and you still have provenance over your ordinal at the end of the day.
Wow, man. Yeah, that's good. I didn't think about that. Like, you know what I mean? Just because, like, if I have USDC on Solana or USD, whatever the stablecoin Solana is, I can potentially lock it up with Bitcoin and the agents kind of doing it all in the back end.
Yeah,
or
but you also get these other tools that we don't have here yet.
Yeah, 100%, dude. This is mind blowing. It just shows you, like, I love it for the fact that, you know, in case, I mean, I'm bullish on Arch. I'm bullish on Ordinals and stuff they're building with BitVM and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm always kind of looking at what if that doesn't work? And because, you know, we have a show here, right? We go live Monday to Friday, 11. You know, we do it every day, and it gets to a point where it's just like we constantly need new innovation. And what AI has brung to Bitcoin, I mean, it's also many other chains, but what it's going to do for Bitcoin is going to really, really push the narrative to where it's like, maybe smart contracts were a thing of the past. Maybe these AI agents are smart contracts 2.0.
Yeah. I mean, it just the idea that we get to commodify or commoditize, I don't know what the right word is, some stuff that's been hard to do, and also because that's expensive to do, it changes a grander scope. Like smart contracts to be completely commoditized changes what a smart contract means to us. It becomes that much easier to think about DeFi and think about other use cases that was really hard to do because of the barrier of writing a smart contract. And you know, like AIXBT is for those who don't know, it's at the top of this cookie DAO list, and it's basically a KOL, but the alpha is really good. So they sell terminal access to that, and it's the last I heard, it was like $200,000 to see what AIXBT sees before it tweets anything. And it's like, there's a new value chain happening, because a lot of the things that were hard to do yesterday are getting commoditized, and stuff like this agent view is gold, you know?
Yeah, 100%, dude. It's really cool to think about, for sure. I want to get your opinion on something real quick. So me and Yagobi we kind of talked about this before, but we're launching a DMT project, some very similar to what Foxy has done. But we're partnered with Foxy, and one of the perks we get being a partner with them is we get to create assets in their chain. And I showed it yesterday, but it was very end of the show. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but I'd love to get your opinion on our assets here. So this is the Satoshi silencer. This is the white one. but this is going to be a DMT project. And I know DMT's, it's really awesome in the sense of you can have 10,000 assets, and each block that you choose is something different. But do you think something that's like this, but there's going to be 3 of these, would actually be awesome as like a DMT type of thing?
So it's about how you integrate DMT, how you want to use it, right? So
Yeah.
it can be automatically DMT just for the fact that you're using an element on chain and using that in some way, right? Maybe it's just
Yeah.
the inscription count, right? But when the data that is being referenced on chain changes the way the weapon looks or acts, in my opinion, that's when DMT starts to get interesting, because then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, the reference to the blockchain really matters. But this looks amazing, by the way, and the orange pops totally.
This is the other one.
Yeah, that's the one I like. That's the top tier, right?
No, this is tier 2. So the first one,
Okay.
that white one, was tier 1, and then this one is the orange one, 643365. This is the orange one right here.
Yeah, that's gorgeous too. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So like, if Foxy integrates the ability to maybe like this would just like really get my inner nerd going, and my outer nerd, actually I should say. I'm like full-time nerdy, but the DMT is like, it could be used in a lot of different ways, and if Foxy would kind of like make it change up a bit somehow on DMT, like, I mean, I'd be all over that. But you don't need to do that. So
Yeah.
like, I think you're good. I think this is amazing right now. But
Because
if like,
that's one thing I didn't want. I didn't want it to feel like, because originally you're supposed to do BRC 420,
yeah,
and then but those assets, they don't really show up on Magic Eden, right?
Yep.
It's just it's just like one of those things where BRC 420 really is looked at as not popular right now. DMT is, but I also didn't want to make it feel like a grift at all, right? So the last thing you want to do, like, we're going to give most of these are going to be given away for free, and then whatever we sell, we're going to be putting half of that in fluid staking. So you'll basically be able to take your asset and stake it and earn Bitcoin and stuff like that. So definitely, but I definitely want to get your opinion on that, as being someone who had a DMT project. So
I would love for, because of DMT, and it kind of makes it like, you don't know if you get this or not, but every now and then a shot is like double kill rate or something. Like, if Foxy could build that for
would
you,
be cool,
I
depending on
think
what block you have.
DMT, yeah.
Every like knife shot, if you get that certain one, is a double, is like it just ricochets bullets, or it turns into a machine gun at like shot 9.
Yeah, and the allure of that for me is, it's not random at all. But Foxy didn't decide it, and you didn't decide it. Bitcoin decided that you got that 9th shot.
Yeah. And what we're doing with them is obviously, the orange one being the top tier one. It says I lost connection.
No, I hear you.
You hear me though, right? All right.
I hear you.
So that's really weird. That's never happened before.
I got the OR logo.
All right, cool. So that's so weird. Let's turn off my camera for some reason. Sorry. But yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to be the orange one's going to be like very rare. So when you pick a block, you're either going to get the white one, the green one, or the orange one. And you're not going to know which, so you're going to be grabbing it in that way. So
nice.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick,
congrats on that. Big time.
Yeah, thanks. Well, we're not sure what we're gonna do with it yet. It's still kind of out there, but I'm gonna try to reset my camera real quickly. If you could just I'm gonna show my if you want, can you show your screen or something? Or I apologize. I just want to get this fixed. And I don't want to leave you this like on the screen all by yourself. But if you want to like maybe go over something really quickly.
All good. Let me see which one is gonna come up. I got multi-screen. Oh, here we go. Let me go back to Cookie.
Yeah, man, I'll share that too, and I will be right back. Thanks, man.
Yeah. So I think something welcome to the Superfan show, everybody. I own the mic. I'm the Ordinal Revolution god at the moment. I can say whatever I want. I think something I can mention that I didn't earlier is I mentioned ICOs, DeFi. I mentioned those different phases. So in 2017, we had Hey, it's my show now. Get out. Maybe I just finished this thought.
Yeah, please do.
Because I didn't go into it before, but yeah. So in 2017 we had ICOs, right? Frothy as hell. Some of the chains that we still use today were born from that. Without regulation, we moved fast and broke things, and we got a bunch of chains out of it, right? It was kind of coming out of that birthing process of Bitcoin to Ethereum to the Cambrian explosion, and a lot of innovation was built. Then 2020 marks DeFi, I guess, and that was like a lot of my introduction to crypto was there. And again, frothy as hell. You saw all the ICO chains having a hand in it, and they were trying GameFi with DeFi. They were trying, pretty much every use case, and most didn't work out. And we're still figuring out DeFi actually. NFTs on ETH 2021, like it took over. We got really big collections that some are still around today. So, and meme coins, more recent, 2023, 2024, like the pattern here, the thread we can follow through all these phases of FOMO and froth is that there's always some that, stick around and they become the poster child for a certain way of doing things. And I think it's important to say, like, make no mistake, agents is another one of these kinds of phases because it can be that impactful, right? And so we're probably going to see another case of a lot of boom and bust. And so for anybody who's not playing in agents yet and looking at this stuff, because it's mostly on other chains today, if you start looking at it, or as this stuff is happening on Bitcoin, like Butoshi, like Big Noodle, I think it's just really important to, like, DYOR is important, do your own research, but it's hard to do your own research here because a lot of this is like unknown what's happening under the hood. So I think it is important to think about, like, when you're considering what is going to boom and what is going to bust, I don't think you could go wrong with infra or the infra that a project chooses to rely on. That's my take on it. And I'm not saying that just because I'm building infra, right? Like patting myself on the back and doing a little of this, but it's what we've seen in the past. It's what we've seen come from those other waves. And I think we're going to see the same exact pattern here. So that was my way of taking the mic, Shizzy.
Yeah, dude, I love it, dude. That was so awesome. I was just thinking too, like I would love to be a fly on the wall of a you and Butoshi in a conversation. Like I would love to just put you both on the screen and just let you guys go, because a lot of the same things that you guys basically are very same kind of thinking, right? And it's really awesome to see. And yeah, have you ever had a conversation with him yet?
No, but I love his energy. He's like the young me in a way. Like I was a lot like him before I was an old head that I am now.
Yeah,
right? So I recognize him and I recognize that energy and I love it.
Yeah, man. He's just in the right place at the right time so much. And he's like 22 years old.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's pretty wild to think. Like when I was 22, dude, the last thing I thought about was anything like this. You know what I mean? Especially, he launched a project that went to $40 million. Like, and, he obviously came back down now, but still just like that's something you can never take away from him. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just absolutely insane.
And shout out to him because he's building here too. Like, shout out to him for a lot of reasons, but also for that.
Yeah. Yeah. And like he said, he's like, I play on Solana, but what do? I bring my profits back to Bitcoin.
Yeah. Right.
And, that really got me thinking. It's like, maybe I can play over on these AI agents. And because that's something that sucked like last month. You know what I mean? Like all my assets were dropping in value while, like Francis and the Black Runner, they all went to these AI agents. And I'm like, damn, we're Ordinal Revolution. Like, can we do that? But now with you bringing AI into it, and a big reason why I wanted you on today was just to kind of show people that, it's coming here as well. It's just everything always takes longer on Bitcoin than it does to be anywhere else because we're new. Bitcoin's the newest ecosystem out there. We had EVM, we had SVM, now we have, Bitcoin. So
it's premium. It's the mother chain. Like, this is where I want to be. But I'm glad you brought up Francis because I don't watch his channel much, but and I always picture him in his car, like all the time, right? But but he kind of maybe was the inspiration for like for getting that wider reach, like, because one of the rules of marketing, I come from a marketing background too, and it's like, go where your audience is. And right now the audience is trigger happy people on Solana and people who maybe invest a little more on ETH. And I don't know too much about base, but I'll get up to speed quick. And it's like, I don't want a vampire attack, actually, and I don't want to be a stranger, right? I don't want to be the guy with the van that says free hugs and candy outside, like I want to show up and be authentic, but I don't know how to do that. And
Yeah.
watching, I know Francis mostly through Ordinal Revolution, and like he's a guy who gets around. He's on all the chains, right? He's
Yeah.
just he's got his ear to a bunch of rails.
And that's the thing. He came to Bitcoin ecosystem because of Ordi, right? He made a bunch of money here, and then he kind of went on vacation for a little bit, didn't do content or anything, and came back. And it was the runes era, and he hated runes. He just hated the whole the concept of Leonid, basically Casey saying, "Well, F BRC20s, I'm going to make my own," because he's just kind of his personality and stuff. So he hated that. And then when I think when he went to Fractal and started building there, I think he was just miserable. And now you kind of see the real Francis again, right?
Yeah.
You kind of see him. He's excited. He's happy. And like he's not a meme coin guy. Like I've been following him way before he was, he was in Bitcoin. He's never been a meme coin guy. He's always been about making money. So that's why he was BRC20s and stuff. But now he loves like digging into the project's founders and what this project's doing and stuff like that. And that's something I always love too, right? Like I love doing that. Like that's why I was huge on Phantom and DeFi and stuff like that last cycle. And now coming here, it's kind of like, oh, well, this is a meme coin community, says it's going to go up, right? Like that, like, but why else? The community's going to get bigger. But like, I want, like, what are they building, right? And that's what you step in with this AI stuff and bring in that here. It's kind of like, we're going to get that again because people are going to start building these AI agents and this AI ecosystem, and it's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger to where I don't have to pivot because it's coming here. And I think Francis made that pivot, but he's happy now. He actually seems excited about doing content again.
Yeah,
the Block Runner too. I mean, it's hard to do content here. I mean, we do it every day, but like 40% of the show is Bitcoin news. So it's like it's easy for us because we're at the end of the day we're Bitcoiners. But even for them, they seem excited again about AI, and I feel like AI is just it's that DeFi moment for crypto again, right? It's that environment that we can finally see real companies and real buildings being happening here.
The difference here, I think, it's a bonus in that that DeFi moment also applies to people without wallets, because the use cases of some of the stuff, if it's not trading, if it's other use cases, it's got a broad appeal, and that'll bring fiat into the space. Maybe it'll onboard people into the space. Maybe it won't do either of those things, but that's okay too. It's I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, man. Well, we're at that hour and a half point. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you again. I mean, you filled in for Yagobi. It was absolutely awesome. And
how did I do?
Trying to have you on the show for a while, dude. 10 out of 10. Honestly, you were perfect all the way through. No, awesome. Perfect all the way through, man. It was you did great during the Bitcoin stuff, and everything else. But I definitely want to give you the stage one last time. Tell people where to come find you. If I want to help, like build something with you, like what do I got to do?
Yeah. So thank you. And I started a brand new Twitter account. And anybody who's interested in this stuff, I'm pretty much going to put everything on Twitter at Big Noodle BTC. If you follow me already on Superfan, my Superfan account, I forget what it is. Superfan DOT.
Superfan.fun. Yeah.
.fan.
Or Superfan.fan.
Yeah, spelled out. Superfan DOT fan. They're going to mirror each other for a while, just because I think that's the right way to do it. But Big Noodle is going to be all about the DPIN, all about agents, and we also got a pretty nice Discord. I mean, you could get to the Discord. I'll change this heading so it includes the Discord link.
Well, I can just go here and go here as well, right?
Yeah, I think no, I took it out, but yeah, I'll fix that. And yeah, I'm basically starting a campaign of a bunch of outputs. So. If you follow, you're going to see a lot of what is happening in kind of an effort to pump news and put news out. So it should be fun in the near future. So come on over.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you again, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, and I can't wait till the next time you come. But we do have, there's a couple things here. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I've got the chat. Sorry, guys. So, Shizzy, can we put names on the rifles, bullets, just so we can dedicate certain bullets to certain players? Yeah, that's something we can definitely look into. Fox, that would be off chain. But definitely reach out. We can now talk to Foxy about something like that. But I saw some questions here for you. Superfan, solo, send nudes. Then we have need an episode in the future. We have a panel of heroes, agents, and co-hosts.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. Actually, let me interrupt you, Shizzy, real quick.
Yeah.
So I am working on something that is two agents who don't know their agents talking to each other on Twitter Spaces about all this and bringing people up to the mic so you can actually interact with it. And I just think that's going to be fun as hell, and it might be a disaster, but that's what I'm working on, and that's going to happen soon too. So, and I'm hoping to make it pretty funny.
Dude, I'm hoping it's a disaster. That'd be so much fun. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. That would be great, dude. Like, and then, but my favorite part is the first one be a disaster, and then just watching the progression, right? The next one, and the next one, and the next one. So, oh yeah, man. I think it's all the comments we got in here. What you meaning tap or track tokens for your network? This is from Blonde Bros.
Yeah.
Any idea what you mean here?
Well, I think earlier we talked about using it for miners, so
Gotcha.
like the gas fees. So it's still a decision as to whether it'll be a tap, like the tap token, or our own project token that we pay miners with and use as our currency and our gas fees. So I'm leaning toward tap because I think it's rise all boats.
And the last question here, Superfan, where is the next hackathon that you're joining?
That's a good question. I don't know, but I got invited to ETH Denver of all places. Like,
nice.
So I might be there. I wanna meet you guys IRL in Vegas, maybe.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, we'll be there.
So I don't know where the next hackathon is, but I might show up at some of these things. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you again, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun. I was nervous as hell about the opening, but I think
how was it for you? Like on your end?
So
anything you expected?
I didn't think I'd have anything to contribute on the macro stuff at the beginning, but
you're great. Yeah,
I actually was kind of a chatterbox, so I'm psyched. Thanks for this.
Everyone, that's the thing too. I'm realized too. Everyone has opinion, even though they may not be paying attention. Everyone has an opinion on it. And that's like the best part about this, right? You can ask anyone a question and then their brain just gets ticking, even if they're not fully caught up. It's like, yeah, I mean, lower rates, right? Like,
But you also were gentlemen, so thank you for making it easy for me.
No problem, man. Thank you again. See you, bud.
Peace, all.
Absolutely awesome, guys. Appreciate him so much for doing this, guys. It's not easy to get in front of them. I remember my first time. I went on to a podcast. It was called DeFi Launch, and I went on to this podcast and just kind of went in there not knowing what to expect. And your first one is always tough, and you get used to it. And then you get to do things like this where you just like talk to yourself, and you hope people are watching. But we had 253 people in here. We know there's a lot of big spaces happening right now, but you guys chose to be here, and we really, really appreciate that. But if you guys wouldn't mind checking out our partners, we got Emblem Vault. They're going to be able to allow you to jump your Node Monkey, jump your Puppet from the main chain Bitcoin to chains like Abstract, chains like Merlin, and so on and so on. Pretty much any chain you'll be able to use that. Check out emblemvault.vision for that, and emblemvault.market to check out their markets as well. And then there's btc.fun. I'm sorry, betbtc. .win. They are going to be your poly markets prediction market, but for Bitcoin. They're going to be really, really big here, guys. This is just the beginning, but they do basically right now. By using the site, you are earning points, and they're coming right out. They're saying there's going to be an airdrop. So if you guys wanted to check those guys out up at this one right here, it's BTC. betbtc.win. Check them out. And then you got BitPerp. Huge news this week. I wish I can tell you guys, but all I can say is definitely go to their site. It's bitperp.io and check them out there. They're going to be building it, probably the number one place to do leverage, right? Think there was one recently that potentially they could be do something like there. So definitely check out BitPerp. Check it out, guys. Go there, use it. I'm telling you. And then there's fluid tokens. They actually extended. This is huge news. They actually extended their staking period for the pass. They're giving you guys 5 more days. The pass shot up from, I was buying them at 0.0007. I mean, today they're like 0.003. So if you were a part of that, you at least got a 5x. I mean, I was telling you guys for the longest time to get these passes, and now they're finally doing what I thought they would do. But if you go to fluid tokens and go to staking, you can kind of see here, if you do have a pass and you're just holding it, you have no intention of selling it, there's no reason not to stake it. Pay the $20, guys. I'm telling you, for the reason, and it's not financial advice. But if you're worried about losing $20, then maybe this isn't the space for you, period. Because I used to pay $100 for gas fees on ETH. So, but you come here, you stake it. This is the FLDT token. There's 300,000. There's gonna be probably 400 passes by the end of this. It's looking like 300 tokens per pass, depending on if you're a black one or an orange one. The black one being tier 1 and the orange one being tier 3. But depending on your token, you're gonna get these tokens. But I think this is gonna be the number 1 token on Cardano. And they're building on Bitcoin. They're potentially going to be building on stacks. They're building everywhere. They're going to be one of the biggest DeFi places in the ecosystem, in my opinion. And building on Cardano, they there's not many builders there, and their UTXO chain. This is going to be something that's pretty awesome. And they're building for Arch as well. I mean, they're building everywhere. It's absolutely insane. Definitely a token that I think I want 100%. But by just putting the passes in there, I get my pass back for potentially the next time they do a staking thing. So that's another benefit as well, because I think this is only going to be the first of many. So you're going to put this in there, you'll pay the $20. But if you have 5, it's $20. If you have 30, it's $20, right? So it doesn't matter how many you have. So that could be a benefit of yours too. Maybe waiting for you to accumulate all the ones you accumulate, and then boom, pop them all in at once. But definitely something I think is worth it. So check them out. And guys, haven't checked out Merlin chain, that it's EVM, it's Bitcoin. It's the only EVM chain right now where you can get node monkeys, you can get doll go to the moon, you can get so much more. Check out Merlin chain. These guys, we have Jeff on the show every single Monday. Jeff is one of those people who is not going to not stop building. So definitely check out everything that they're building there. And now with BitVM, with Ordinals, potentially going to be working with those guys at Nubit to get this bridge permissionless. Because right now, when you do bridge over there, you are using a multi-sig wallet that is controlled by them. I know, but eventually in the future, with the BitVM and maybe even Emblem Vault, it's going to be jumping assets over there. It's going to be something really big, guys. Definitely check out Merlin chain. Right now, the Bitcoin ecosystem is low, so is Merlin chain. So you definitely want to check them out at merlinchain.io. And then check out Foxy. We were just talking about them earlier. They're going to be building a metaverse game. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Definitely check out foxy.co. And then every Saturday, it's going to be fun. Maybe we can have Superfan on for one of those episodes, but we're going to be doing a morning Saturday stream with Foxy playing their game. Half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, depending on how much fun we're having. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. So definitely check that out. You guys will all be invited for that. You guys can come up and, you can come get us, right? We'll be in there. You're going to get Yagobi or get me. I don't want to say words that could get this show banned, but you can get us. So it's going to be fun. It could be exciting. And then Ordinal Hive, huge news dropping this week as well. They are at beta.ordinalhive.io. So definitely check them out. They're going to be dropping, an aggregator. So, when you do go buy that node monkey or whatever you want to buy, and maybe it's cheaper on Unisat, right? Maybe someone listed on Unisat, or maybe someone listed over on OKX. It doesn't matter. You'll go to Ordinal Hive and it will purchase the cheapest one for you. It'll have them all listed for you guys. It's exciting. BitPer's building more and more stuff. I'm not BitPer. Ordinal Hive, they're building more and more stuff to add it with this. So definitely check out beta.ordinalhive.io. So check them out. And if you guys wouldn't mind heading over to ordinalrevolution.com, we have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. And if you guys need a VPN, we have the number 1 VPN. We have NordVPN. Check it out here, guys. Do not be traveling the webs without a VPN. People can get your IP address, which eventually can get your address. And as Bitcoiners, we want no one having our addresses, right? We're all about that self-custody. Get a VPN, guys. Hide your IP address from everybody. I like to use there's ones over there, Amsterdam and stuff like that. You can use anywhere, Italy, Mexico, anywhere, you guys. But definitely get a VPN. If it's not Nord, get it from somewhere else. Everyone should have a VPN. And like Superfan mentions, we're going to be in Vegas. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. But don't wait till May to get your tickets. They go up in value. I promise you. You can try to buy them in April. They're going to be 10 times the price they are today. I remember the Whale Pass. It was $3,000 for Nashville. And then by the time it came up, it was like 30 grand. Absolutely insane. There was one guy I was there. He was trying to sell his Well Pass for like 20 grand because he bought it for 3. He was trying to get those X's, man. Degens will be degens. But definitely check out everything at ordinalrevolution.com. And if you need merch, we have some of the best merch available. Check it all here at ordinalrevolution.com. Thanks to you again, guys. And Yagobi will be back tomorrow. So it should be fun. We'll get some get some updates on the market and everything that is going on. It should be fun. And we got a lot of things happening this week as well. I think we're gonna have Arch on Thursdays back, Fluid Fridays. We're gonna do something with Emblem Vault on Fridays now as well. It's getting exciting, guys. It's getting busy. I hope you're excited as I am, and I'll see you tomorrow. Where's the Yagobi? Peace.
We OG, oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Man, pool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro? Got French right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.